Matthew 5:20 tells us this: "For I tell you, unless your righteousness surpasses that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." To me, this is a pretty amazing statement. It really makes me think, because the Pharisees, the scribes, especially the Pharisees, were the religious leaders of the time. The Pharisees were the ones that were supposed to be teaching the others. They're the ones that knew the letter of the law. They're the ones that knew the law inside and out. They were the ones that should have known how to apply the law. But they had a big problem. They knew the law. They knew the letter of the law. They knew exactly what it said. But one thing is, they didn't know how to truly apply it. They didn't understand the spirit of the law. They only knew the letter of the law. And they were very harsh in the way they administered the law. But they themselves, when they practiced the law, they didn't have it in their hearts. They knew what they had to do. They did it because they had to do it. They did it to be seen of others. Remember what Jesus said about the way that they prayed? They prayed on the street corners and the synagogues to be seen by others. So this is something that we have to think about in our own lives. Why do you do what you do? Do you serve God because somebody told you had to? Are you serving God so that somebody else will please somebody else, so that they'll think better of you, so that they'll think higher of you? Well, that's wrong, because Jesus didn't count that as righteousness. He said your righteousness has to be better than that if you're going to get into heaven. You see, anybody can read the Bible and anybody can try to follow what it says. Of course, nobody's going to do it perfect, because the law cannot be followed perfect. But you can look at the commands of God and say, oh, I'm not going to kill anybody. I'm not going to lie. And you may be able to go through the motions. But you don't have Jesus in your heart. You see, that's the key. You have to have Jesus in your heart. You have to love God, and you have to love serving Him. You need to love the people that He loves, the people that He brings into your life. The Pharisees got it all wrong. God always wants our heart. If you have the right heart attitude, then the good works are going to come. Everything else is going to come along. If you have the right heart attitude, if you love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, and all your strength, as it says in the book of Mark, then you're going to be able to serve God with the right heart attitude. You see, when something is truly in your heart, it becomes part of who you are. You see, yes, we have to have the knowledge first. We have to read it. We have to hear it. It has to come into our brain, and we have to know it. And first of all, we need to believe it. We need to say, yes, I believe this is true. But then it has to become a part of who we are. And when it gets into our heart, that means it's going to become a part of who we are. And through that then, because of that then, we can serve God with the right heart attitude. That's true righteousness, when we're doing it with the right heart attitude, with a love for God, with a love for people, and a desire to serve Him well, and without any regard for what other people think or whether we're going to get praised for it or not. So I would challenge you today. Ask God to search your heart. Do you have the right heart attitude about what you're doing? Be honest with God. And if you don't, confess it. Allow God to change you and become more righteous than the scribes and the Pharisees.